What's up, Joe 200? All right, this is fall semester 2025. Okay, and I'm going to give you a little schooling right now, a little education about what you need to do to navigate this course. And ultimately, the whole goal is what you need to do to get an A in Joe 200. Right? You do the work, you get an A. All right. Um, there's weekly work that you have to stay on top of. We have a couple writing assignments, meaning three, right? So hardly a couple. Um, and then we have the two exams in the class that are 60 multiple choice questions that happen halfway through the class and then at the very end. Okay, and it's not cumulative, so it's whatever has been covered in the first half and the second half. Awesome. Right, so we are pros, guys, and we have, what is today? Today's Thursday, August 21st, okay? And so yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. So myself and my co-instructor right down there, Julia Walsh, okay? And yeah, I'm a biologist by trade, okay? And for many years before I had to let go, I had a Parkinson's disease laboratory where we looked at exercise, which was cool. Had to let it go a long time ago because of complications in my life. And and Julia is an attorney, right? She went to USC Law School. You're going to hear all kinds of proud things that I'm going to say about her all throughout the semester. She graduated number three in her class, worked for Pillsbury, Madison, Sutro, Lillich, McCoe. And then after that, having children, which we'll talk about in this class, and the challenge that brings with each generation, she stepped it down, sort of, and she became managing counsel for the Automobile Club for about 6, 7 years. And then she had health issues. And so I'm wearing a shirt right now that talks about celebrating and fighting the health issue that she has had for about that we know for about 13 years, probably a little bit longer, and it's a chronic form of blood cancer. Okay, so it's a lymphocytic leukemia, and so but she's back, So she's had a series of downtime, but a series of wins, and it's all because of modern medicine that she is here, and so she will be teaching you many things in this class. She has her own segments on terms of law, and she talks about cancer, and she is the go-to person. All right, so you need to understand that. So we have down here again our contacts. If you have any issues, here we are. We even have our cell phones down here. Not too many instructors do that. It's best to contact Julia by email. You'll find that in the syllabus, which you can get right here. Okay, the syllabus is what you see in every syllabus in class. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how, by watching this video and by just understanding the layout of our Brightspace course, it is basically the syllabus. Okay, so this class is asynchronous. Okay, you're going to get videos just like this from us every week that will go over the curriculum of that week. All right, and then you have a number of duties to perform by going through the assignments. So we have quizzes and we have discussion boards that are due every week. All right. Okay. So and you can see this right here. I'm looking at the page that you will be looking at. This is the view as a learner in Brightspace. So this is what it looks like for the students. And you're going to see that things are going to be due. And we see for right up, you see when the first reading quiz is due. So every week, the quizzes and discussions are due. Okay. I'll show you different ways to get to them. For if you are a person that loves to work ahead, all the quizzes and all the discussions for the entire class are open right now. So you can work ahead, all right? However, at the end of every week, so we have week 1, week 2, week 3, the quizzes and discussions will close, okay? So you need to just, put this on your phone, get a reminder that once a week, I need to get in there and get this stuff done, all right? Awesome. All right, and we see down here, okay, similarly, okay, we have a calendar that's showing you what's going down, all right? We are going to be communicating a lot via the announcements, and the announcements are also being sent out as an email, as you're going to get this email right now, okay? Awesome. All right, so the layout of the course, okay? So content, there is a table of contents, okay? So click right here. Okay. And you can see that I was in there based on what I did last, working on retirement planning, which is probably, I don't know, there's so many good weekly modules. This one is awesome for you guys that are Marshall School majors, because we really do a deep dive in retirement planning and really about investing. Okay. And this is like for anybody. You do not need to hire a money manager, okay, an investment counselor. You can do this on your own. It's just like playing a video game, playing with an app on your phone. It's kind of rewarding to get in there and to learn how to do your own Fidelity account, Morgan Stanley account, Vanguard, whatever your preference is. Okay, so we teach you in this module all about IRAs and Roth IRAs, 401ks. Okay, when you have done as much as you can there, we'll teach you about brokerage accounts and how there's still a benefit in doing that. There's more taxes there. We'll teach you about annuities, et cetera, and what to expect out of Social Security, because you know it's your money's. Okay, so that's just one example. All right, so what I'm going to show you right here. So we have the syllabus that you can access both ways. These are our course policies. This is our welcome and introduction to the course. This video is going to be going in there as well, right? So you click on here, okay? And so this is a great class to understand the full impact of aging. So you see right here, how to get an A in GERO 200, all right? So that's what I put in there for last semester. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this video. I'm going to stick my new video right in there. So it's perfect. It's a welcome video. Okay, awesome. Here's every written assignment that you're going to have. Very clearly laid out. Okay, you just calendar this, my friends. Okay, we are making it personalized. You actually have to go in and gather data from this amazing website. We clearly lay it out in terms of the kind of data we want, how much data you need to get. All right, so you need to be able to read this and understand this. So within this website, okay, you go here and we look at life expectancy. Within this website right here, you go here and you look at it's a variation what's called the dependency ratio. We're looking at how many people are dependent on your working dollars, okay? And we're specifically looking at the impact of older people. And yes, you know what? You hear all these beautiful things about aging and how wonderful it is, okay? But at the end of the day, they're very dependent on you, especially financially, and it's a big burden on you. It's a big burden sociologically on your generation, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, awesome. So here is again. I will do this again. All right. So this is my old how to do that particular writing assignment. Okay, so it's awesome. Here's a list of instructions because you're looking at developed and developed. Undeveloped countries or developing countries. Here's the rubric. You just make sure you touch all these points and you will get your 10 points for that writing assignment. All right? So that's how that works. Same drill down here. Okay, this tells you the kind of figures you're going to capture. You're just going to do screen captures and put it in your 3-page paper. So it might be like a 4-page paper with the figures. Okay? Here we are. Oh, financial planning. This is awesome. All right, so you're going to be going in and doing financial planning. There's the rubric. Okay, you're going to see what happens. There's the how to do it. Okay, we also have slide decks. Okay, right on how to do this. Okay, so it's your preference in terms of how you learn. Okay, so here's the slide deck if you'd rather just go step by step. Awesome. And the last one is one of those really amazing papers. That you're going to write. And what you're going to do again here is the rubric, okay? And these are some sample questions, okay? But you're going to sit down with an older member of your family, your neighborhood. You choose somebody and you talk to them like you've never talked to them before. You know, we've all had, hey, Grandpa, how are you at Christmas? Good, okay, see ya. You get to get some really good history, and we tell everybody, if it's a family member, you take it out and you videotape it and you archive it so you can be able to show this really interesting content that you got from your grandparents. Okay, it's a lasting archive to show your children and your grandchildren. All right, so we have here extra credit. All right, it's a way to bump your grade. You know, it's on a 100% point scale. over the entire semester, okay, it's a way to bump your grade 3% at the end. All right, so do it. Most students do a little video where they're actually putting the information in a bottle and sending it off to sea, and then it comes back to see them when they're 70 years old, and this is what they're going to tell their older self about how to live or what life was like. And it's really cool. So it's a good way to run through the class and just your own personal perspective. That's that part. And then we have down here, as you see, week, every single week. Now, we also have down here, okay, how-to folders, okay? So if you're new to USC or new to how to do a class like this, okay, hey, look at that. How to get an A in GERO 200. It's in there again, okay? This is how to do Turnitin, all right? So we have 3 Turnitin assignments, all right? And yes, you plagiarize, we will come down like a hammer on you, okay? So this is what you do to avoid plagiarism, okay? How to post in discussion boards. We're going to talk about that. With the discussion boards, you're going to do a single post that is really, really responsive to the prompt. So we'll ask a question based on the content, and then you have to, so that's half your credit. The other half of the credit is you're going to go in, you're going to find a classmate, a friend, and comment on what they said. Boom. That's how you get full credit. Okay? That's in the syllabus as well. All right? There is a Brightspace mobile app. Okay, if you're interested, that tells you all about it. If you have friends that add GERO 200, this is what you do. Again, they need to contact us. We'll catch them up and accommodate them. Okay, here's more Brightspace help put out there by the university. If you want to look at your old quizzes to prepare for your midterms and final, this is how you do this. And if you have a personal emergency, this is kind of important, and at the very end, this is what you do. Communication. Okay, do you guys understand that? Okay, I can't tell you how many students we have to deal with that have these enormous problems. The semester slips away with them, and this is a 15-week class, and then we get contacted the 15th week, and that ship has sailed, right? So if you're having trouble at any point in the semester, you contact Julia, and we will work with you, okay? We want you to succeed. All right. So, how do we start things? Okay, this right here is, all right, the first module. This would be week 1. This is what you're going to be doing next week, guys, okay? So what I have here, this is the module 1 lecture, okay? So what is my module 1 lecture all about? Well, you're going to see right here, this is what you're going to be responsible for, all right? So I outline the content here. So a lot of people want to see the review. This is the review of what's going on. And I go over, for example, the key points raised in this video. And so many other questions are going to come up in the quiz part of this class, of this week, are outlined right here. Okay. So we have 2 resources. This is YouTube in this particular case, and then we also have the same video that's on Facebook. So you choose what you want to do. Okay, and then this is where we get a little stronger here. This is a huge report because we're talking about global aging and the impact and solutions. Okay, and this is what it's all about. You're going to school, and maybe you don't know what kind of job you're going to get. Maybe you can see perspective in getting a job globally, where you're going to help other countries, communities, whatever it is, in solving their issue with aging populations. Okay, alrighty. So this is the resource. It's the best one that's out there. 2023. You'll see again the data that they have to have a 2023 publication. They're looking historically up to the point that they write the paper. So a lot of information maybe goes up to 2020, but it's the newest and greatest. It's a big read. So it's a resource for you if you want it right there. And what I've done right here, I've honed it down into a slide deck, and we just covered the first part, okay? And so if I click on this, up pops my slide deck, and yeah, so it's about 23, 27 pages in terms of the slide deck, okay? And the last one is just kind of reminding us that the second half, which is week 2, I'll be going over that, all right? All right, so So that's all the information, okay? So what I do is I do a video and we walk through that together, okay? Alrighty, and that, my friends, if you come back up here, come back, click on this, all right, takes me back to the home page for week 1. That will be right in here, okay? So there's the slide, the example from last semester. So I'll delete that. I'm going to put the new one right back in here. Okay, I have everything intact so you can see it, so it feels real. And then what we go through is all the old videos that are in there. They just get deleted. All right, awesome. All right, so that's week 1. Okay, what else is happening? Okay, so what you can do also. Okay, you see there's a quiz and there's a discussion board. Okay, some of you might want to be going through the content, listening to my video, and do the quiz. So what I do is I just go ahead and I open up Brightspace a second time. Okay, I can do it in the same browser. I can do it in a second browser. It's my home page. I'm going to do Gerontology 200. Okay, I'm viewing as a learner once again. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into week 1. Now, hey, I haven't shown you this, but guess what? We also have another table of contents called the visual table of contents that has everything down here. Right? I think it's easier just to go through the content, but it's really kind of like unifies the course. All right, here's Brightspace tips, like I talked about. If you need an extension and anything, this is what you put. You click on this. You contact Julia. All requests, all problems go through Julia Walsh. Don't forget that. Okay. Alrighty. Here's our syllabus, which you can access in 2 different ways. You can also get the syllabus right there. All right. And then it has the redundancy of the dates. Here's all the writing assignments, okay, that I talked about, okay. Here's the 2 exams, okay. We will be notifying you in advance so you make sure you know that you need to get those done. You get a block of time, a week, to get the exams done. Again, it's asynchronous. And when you do the exam, you have 2 hours to get them done, all right. Here's your extra credit, boom. And then there's week 1 module, week 2 module, week 3 module. All right, so this is the way that is done. All right, so I was suggesting I already have week 1 open. Let's open this again on this side. So I did it like the table of contents. Okay, so again, here's week 1. You can tell by the highlighted, it's kind of blue-gray right here. Okay, and you have a quiz. So let's just do this. Right, and so you would click on that. Now the I would call it the irritation that is Brightspace is I can't access the quiz. I actually have to create myself as a student to access the quiz, which I haven't done yet. Okay, so I will be doing that. And then I'll show you what it looks like when I open a quiz as well. And I'll get that done for the Monday video, and then we do the content. All right? Sound good, guys? Peace. All right, so I'm going to get out of there. All right? And the final thing that we're going to see here is your discussion board. This is such a long time ago, okay? It was a real fun video. It kind of introduces myself to you. And that's what you're doing. You're introducing yourself to your class. Put in some photos. Here's our 2 dogs, okay? Des and Lucy, all right? So they're really cool dogs, okay? And so the whole point, you got to find a prompt, okay? We want to get to know you, all right? So tell us who you are. I want to find out what your major is, or where you see yourself going, why you're taking this class, okay? That's the first one. Like I said, we can put a photo of yourself, your pet, your family, whatever you want to do, okay? And this is a video who is me? I have an identity. We all have identities. I grew up surfing. God, I'm 69, guys, and I've been surfing for 60 years, in and out of injuries. So I'm just coming off pretty significant injuries. I'll probably talk to you guys later on about a surgery and then a major intervention in my low back. And I actually went surfing yesterday for the first time in 6 months. And God, it felt good, guys. I mean, I'm sure you guys are runners. Some of you are basketball players. Some of you are hockey players, whatever your thing is, it felt, and you know what, my social circle is wrapped into it. And I ran into so many of my old friends that I hadn't seen in a while because I was in rehab. So yeah, so it was awesome. All right. So that's what that's all about. All right. If we look at, a different week, okay. So we'll look down here at diabetes, okay. So again, the lecture will be right here. Here's the reading assignments, okay, right there. Okay, a slide deck. Okay, some global perception of how bad the situation is with diabetes. Okay, what it puts you at risk for. So this is all the content. A couple of videos that are really good that talk about what happens with diabetes. I mean, so with just a little biology to make you honest. Okay, and then like I said, you would come down here and you would have the quiz and you have the discussion board, right? So this discussion board is a little more relevant to the content. So we're talking about the obesity epidemic and BMI and problems, okay? And yes, obesity is the number one cause of diabetes, okay? It's not an absolute, okay? And so we have fun with this, where you go in there and you calculate your own BMI, and see how you stack up, and then why it maybe isn't the best indicator, but still this is what our society uses. All right, so that's just an example right there. Okay, so it's all in there. Like I said, if you wanted to go back and look at what's going on here. All right, so there. All right, so that's my diabetes lecture from last semester. So that's and I will walk you through that content. You'll be getting this every week. All right, guys, you'll get it figured out. All right. So I think that's basically it. And enjoy your last couple of days of summer. We're going to be cooking you at USC, especially if you're in the old dorms that have no air conditioning. It's a great way to stress you out, and you can thank USC for that. All right, awesome. All right, guys, peace, and we'll see you next time.